Picture this: Christmas Eve, midnight, -12 degrees. I'm standing barefoot in half a foot of snow, locked outside my own home. Inside, 30 people are celebrating, laughing, opening gifts, toasting champagne. My father pours himself another drink. My stepsister waves at me through the window, then closes the curtain with a smile. I thought that was rock bottom. I was wrong, because what happened next, the black car that pulled up, the woman who stepped out, and what she revealed about my father, changed everything I thought I knew about my life. If you've ever felt invisible in your own family, this story is for you. My name is Emma. I'm 21 years old, and this is the story of how I escaped a cage I didn't even know I was living in. It started 12 years ago at my mother's funeral. I was 9. The sky was gray and empty. My mother's casket was beautiful mahogany. My grandmother told me Mom had always loved that wood. My grandmother's name is Victoria. She smelled like flowers and old books. At the cemetery, she was the only person who held my hand. My father stood 6 feet away, hands in his pockets, jaw tight. He never cried. Not once. After everyone left, Victoria knelt in front of me. Her eyes were red and swollen. She held my face and said 5 words I wouldn't understand for 12 years. "I will always find you, sweetheart." Then my father stepped between us. "You need to leave, Victoria. She's my granddaughter, Richard. Your daughter died because of your pressure. You're not welcome anymore." I didn't understand. My mother died of a brain aneurysm. Nobody caused it. But I was 9, and my father was the tallest person in the room. When he spoke, people listened. Victoria looked at me over his shoulder. Her lips moved silently. Then she walked away. Within a month, we moved. New town, new phone number. My father threw away Mom's address book. "It's just us now," he said. "That's all we need." I believed him. 2 years later, my father brought home Brenda. She had blonde hair, a bright smile, and a daughter named Kelsey, who was 2 years older than me. "This is going to be wonderful," Brenda said, squeezing my shoulders. Her acrylic nails dug into my skin. Within a week, I was moved to the basement. Kelsey got my room, the one upstairs with the window seat my mother had built. "Kelsey needs sunlight for her skin," Brenda explained. Kelsey had a tan from soccer camp. I learned the rules quickly. Cook breakfast before school, clean after dinner, fold laundry on Sundays. Kelsey chose what we watched, where we ate, what clothes to buy. When we went out, which was rare, I sat at the end of the booth. "Emma loves helping," Brenda told guests. "She's such a little worker bee." One night, I asked my father, "I have a lot of homework. Can Kelsey do dishes tonight?" Brenda's eyes filled instantly. She pressed her hand to her chest. "I try so hard, Richard, and she resents me." My father turned to me, voice cold. "Apologize. Now." I apologized. I always apologized. Here's what I didn't know. Every single year, every birthday, every Christmas, packages arrived from Victoria. Cards, gifts, letters. My father signed every one, returned to sender, before I ever saw them. 144 letters over 12 years. All returned unopened. At 18, I got a full scholarship to nursing school 80 miles away. I was shaking when I showed my father the letter. He didn't look up from his laptop. Nurses clean up other people's messes, just like you do here. That same month, Kelsey dropped out of community college. My father paid her tuition balance, her credit cards, and bought her a used car. "She's finding herself," Brenda said. I found myself 2 part-time jobs and paid for textbooks with crumpled bills and quarters. I didn't complain. I was out of the basement 5 days a week. That felt like freedom. Then one night, home for Thanksgiving junior year, I found a box behind the basement water heater. Old cardboard, my mother's handwriting on the side. Inside, a silk scarf, perfume, and a photograph. 2 women at a party. My mother, young and laughing. Beside her, an older woman in a navy dress. Written on the back, "Margaret and Mom, Victoria's 60th birthday, 2001. 2 years before I was born. My father told me Victoria died before I was born, but here she was, healthy and happy, holding my mother close. I almost searched her name that night, But my father checked my browser history every Sunday. I put the photo back. I waited. 5 months later, I came home for Easter. The box was gone. I found Brenda arranging flowers. The box behind the water heater, where is it? Old junk. I donated it. That was my mother's. Sweetie, it was collecting dust. That night, I opened Facebook Marketplace. There it was, my mother's pearl necklace, listed for $43. The seller? Brenda's email address. I showed my father the screenshot the next morning. She's selling Mom's things. He barely glanced at my phone. Brenda is my wife. This is her house too. Drop it. Those were Mom's. Drop it, Emma. He walked away. That night in the basement, something shifted inside me. No thunder, no dramatic moment, just quiet, terrible clarity. I'd always thought keeping quiet was keeping peace, that absorbing cruelty was the price of having family, that if I was patient enough, kind enough, someone would finally see me. But lying there in the dark, I understood. I wasn't keeping peace. I was keeping their comfort. And nobody was coming to see me unless I made noise. I just didn't know the noise was already on its way. December 21st. My father called a family meeting. We're hosting Christmas Eve this year. 30 guests. Biggest party yet. He looked at me like a manager reviewing a schedule. Emma, you're on food. Full spread. Ham, sides, 2 desserts, decorations, table settings. Start tomorrow. I glanced at Kelsey. She was painting her nails, not even listening. What's Kelsey doing? Kelsey's helping with the guest list and outfits. Of course, I spent 3 days in the kitchen, brining ham, rolling pie crust at midnight, ironing tablecloths. On December 23rd, I paused and looked at the Christmas tree. Beneath it, 32 wrapped presents. I read every tag. Not one said Emma. I found Brenda on the mantel. Am I invited as a guest or just staff? She laughed, light and practiced. Don't be dramatic, sweetie. Family helps family. I nodded and went back to slicing carrots, thinking about a woman in a navy dress whose name I wasn't allowed to search. 200 miles away, a 78-year-old woman sat in a car, reading a file. The file contained my address, confirmed 72 hours ago. She told her driver, "We go Christmas Eve." Christmas Eve arrived. I'd been awake since 5 a.m. The ham was perfect, the pies were cooling, everything gleamed. By 6 p.m., guests started arriving, coats piled upstairs. 30 people filled the living room with champagne and laughter. I stayed in the kitchen, apron on, plating appetizers. From the living room, I heard my father's voice rise. And this is my eldest, Kelsey. She's been such a blessing. A woman from church looked around. And where's your other daughter? Oh, Emma's helping in the kitchen. She likes to stay busy. Helping out on Christmas Eve? She insisted, Brenda said smoothly. She's selfless like that. No one followed up. No one checked. I stood there holding bruschetta I'd spent 2 hours making. My name was a footnote. I set down the tray, untied my apron, put on my one nice sweater, and walked into the living room. I sat at the end of the dining table on a folding chair. For 10 minutes, I ate in silence while others opened gifts. Name after name called. Laughter? Thank yous. Wrapping paper everywhere. The pile shrank. My name never came. Finally, I spoke. Calm. Room temperature. Dad, is there one for me? The room went silent in waves. Brenda's eyes reddened instantly. Emma, this isn't the time. I'm just asking. My father set down his glass. We talked about this. You're 21. Kelsey is 23. She has 6 presents. Silence. I could hear the hallway clock. Brenda turned to Richard, tears streaming. She always does this. What happened next took 11 seconds. My father pushed back his chair, grabbed my arm. His fingers pressed into bone. Walked me to the front door. My socks dragged on the hardwood I'd mopped the day before. He opened the door. Cold air hit like a wall. -12 degrees. He pushed me onto the porch. I stumbled. I was wearing socks, no shoes. The door slammed. The deadbolt clicked. I stood there, barefoot in the snow. "You want to talk back?" he'd said. "Do it outside. Come back when you learn respect." My feet burned, then stung, then went numb. I curled my toes but felt nothing. My sweater was thin, wind cut through it like paper. 10 minutes passed. The party resumed inside. Laughter, music, 20 minutes. Snow reached my ankles. I crouched against the railing. Through the window, I saw Kelsey walk to the glass. She looked right at me, smiled, waved her fingers slowly, then pulled the curtain shut. I closed my eyes. I thought I might die there. Then I heard movement. Ruth, our neighbor, was inside talking to my father. I saw him wave dismissively. She stared at him, then turned away. I pulled my knees tighter, shaking uncontrollably. Inside, my father stood at the head of the table, addressing his guests. "I apologize for the disruption. Emma has been struggling. We've tried everything." Brenda lowered her head. "I just want her to be happy." Two women reached over to squeeze her hand. Kelsey added from the couch, "She literally screamed at Mom last week." A lie. I never raised my voice. A few guests nodded. The story was set. Troubled daughter, patient father, saintly stepmother. But Ruth didn't nod. She grabbed her coat and walked toward the back door. 30 seconds later, the side gate creaked. Footsteps crunched through snow. Ruth appeared beside me, draping a wool blanket over my shoulders. "I called someone," she whispered. "Who?" "Someone who should have been here a long time ago." Down the street, I heard an engine. Heavy, getting closer. The front door opened. My father filled the frame. "Ruth, this is a family matter." Ruth didn't flinch. "A family matter? She's barefoot in the snow, Richard. She's being taught a lesson. Go home." "Margaret would be ashamed of you." The name hit him like a slap. His face went white, then red. "You don't get to say her name." "Somebody has to, because you buried it with everything else." Ruth held his stare, then walked to the driveway. She didn't leave. She waited. My father yanked the blanket off me. The cold crashed back. "You don't get sympathy. You earn your place." Something in me cracked. "Earn my place," I said quietly. "In a house my mother lived in?" He flinched, just for a second. Then the door slammed. Headlights turned onto our street. Wide, low, the expensive kind of quiet. A black limousine glided to the curb. The driver stepped out and opened the rear door. A man in a gray coat emerged first, leather briefcase in hand. Then a woman stepped out. She was 78, but moved like someone who never waited for permission. White coat, silver hair, sharp dark eyes. She saw me crouching on the porch, soaked, shaking, blue-lipped, and stopped. Her hand went to her mouth. Her chest rose hard. Then she crossed the yard, unbuttoned her coat, and draped it over me. It smelled like jasmine. She cupped my face in warm hands and said 2 words. "Little star." I knew her from the photograph. "I know you," I whispered. Her eyes filled. "I know you too, sweetheart. I've been looking for you." She pulled me into her arms. Then she turned to the man with the briefcase. "Douglas." He nodded. Victoria walked to the front door and knocked 3 times. Firm, final. My father opened it, champagne in hand. His smile froze. Victoria. Her name came out like a bone in his throat. She didn't greet him. She looked past him at the 30 faces, at Brenda on the couch, at Kelsey with her gift bag. Then back at me on the porch. "You locked my granddaughter in the snow," she said clearly. "On Christmas Eve, in the house I bought." 30 people went silent. Brenda stood. "Who is this woman?" No one answered. Douglas stepped inside and opened his briefcase on the dining table. He removed documents. "This property was purchased by Victoria Hartwell in 2003 as a wedding gift for her daughter Margaret. The deed is in her name. It has always been in her name." Richard shook his head. "That's not... I've been paying... You've been living here rent-free for 21 years, Victoria said. "I allowed it for Margaret's sake, then for Emma's." Douglas set papers on the table. 12 years of certified letters, all returned unopened. Victoria turned to me. Emma, your grandfather and I wrote to you every birthday, every Christmas, for 12 years. Cards, gifts, letters. I looked at my father. Is that true? He didn't answer. 144 letters, Victoria said, holding up the bundle. Everyone returned. A woman gasped. Gary from the bank stood and backed away from the table. Kelsey looked at Richard. Dad, what's going on? Brenda was already moving toward the stairs. Victoria let the silence sit. Then, I gave you this house for Margaret. Margaret is gone. You used it as a cage for her daughter. Effective January 15th, I'm reclaiming this property. You have 3 weeks to vacate. You can't. She can, Douglas said. She's the legal owner. You have no lease, no contract, no claim. Richard scanned the room for allies. No one met his eyes. Brenda's voice cut through, cold and real. Richard, you told me this was your house. The mask fell. Victoria turned to her. And you? I know about the necklace. Margaret's pearl necklace. You sold it online for $43. Brenda's face drained of color. My father tried one last thing. He turned to me, voice soft. Emma, sweetheart, you're my daughter. Don't let this woman come between us. I lost my temper. It's Christmas. I looked at him. At the door, he pushed me through. At the window, Kelsey waved from. You locked me outside at -12 degrees, barefoot on Christmas Eve, then went back to your wine. I lost my temper. You made a choice, just like you chose to hide every letter Grandma sent, just like you chose to tell me she abandoned me. I turned to Victoria. She extended her hand. I took it. We walked out. Ruth followed. Douglas gathered his documents. 30 people watched in silence. I didn't look back. The limousine was warm. Victoria sat beside me and took my frozen hands in hers. I looked for you every single day, little star. He said you didn't want me. I wanted you so much I hired 3 investigators. The third one found this address 72 hours ago. I was on a plane the next morning. You came for Christmas. I came for you. Christmas was just the clock. I broke. 12 years of silence came out in 90 seconds, and Victoria didn't shush me, she just held on. The fallout was quiet, but absolute. The week after Christmas, the story spread through town. 30 guests meant 100 conversations. December 28th. Brenda packed 2 suitcases and left with Kelsey. No divorce filed. No note. Just gone. January 2nd. Richard's bank manager called him in. Some clients have raised concerns about your integrity. Not fired, but watched. January 4th. Gary transferred his accounts to another branch. January 15th. Douglas filed the eviction notice. Richard didn't contest it. Richard called me 14 times that month. I didn't answer. His final attempt came in a sealed letter. Please tell Emma I'm sorry. I read it once, folded it, set it down. Some apologies aren't invitations. They're exits. Victoria's house sits on a hill outside town. Wide porch, green shutters, a garden sleeping under snow. She gave me the upstairs bedroom, south-facing, 2 windows, sunlight that wakes me gently. It's the first time since I was 9 that I've slept above ground. On my 3rd morning, she set a box on the kitchen table. Heavy cardboard, reinforced corners. These are yours. They've always been yours. Inside, 144 envelopes, sorted by year. I opened the first one. My 10th birthday. Dear little star, I don't know if you'll ever read this, but someone in this world celebrated you today. I baked a small cake, vanilla, your favorite. I blew out the candle for you. I wished you were safe, warm, and loved. All my heart, Grandma V. I read all 144. It took 4 hours. Victoria sat across from me the whole time, silent and present. February, I finished nursing school. Victoria drove me to the bus station every morning. I have 12 years of driving to make up for. Graduation day was small and bright. Victoria sat in the 2nd row, clapping with both hands. Ruth drove 90 minutes to be there. On the way home, I asked, Grandma, do you think I should forgive him? Victoria drove in silence for a full mile. Forgiveness is yours to give, not his to demand. and you don't have to decide today. I don't hate him, I just don't trust him. That's more than enough. That night, I wrote 4 sentences. Dad, I hope you find peace. But I need mine first. Please don't contact me until I reach out. If I reach out. That's my choice now. Emma. I gave it to Douglas to forward. Some doors close quietly. That doesn't make them any less shut. Today, I work as a registered nurse, 30 minutes from Victoria's house. I help people feel safe in their worst moments. I think I'm good at it. Maybe because I know what it feels like when nobody comes. I have a small apartment now. I visit Victoria every weekend. I have a cat named Star who sleeps on my chest and doesn't care whether I earned my place. I already have one. I always did. This past Christmas was different. Victoria's house smelled like cinnamon and pine. The tree was small, just 5 feet, and we decorated it together. 2 place settings, 2 mugs of cocoa, a fire in the hearth, snow falling outside. For the first time in my life, I watched it from the warm side of the glass. Under the tree, 2 gifts. Victoria handed me a small box. Inside, on velvet, sat a pearl necklace with a tiny locket. I opened it. Inside, a photograph of my mother, young and laughing. Brenda sold the original. I had this made from a photo your mother gave me 30 years ago. She can sell a necklace. She can't sell a memory. I fastened it around my neck. The pearl rested just below my collarbone. I looked out the window. Snow fell on an empty porch. No one shivering, no one locked out, no one watching happiness through glass, wondering why it never includes them.